is up, everyone? Hope you had a wonderful holiday. And as promised, although way later than I'd hoped, and I'll explain why, I've got my all-in-one preset that I had promised a long time ago. And it's for free for everybody. And it basically has an X88 Soldano preamp for the dirtier tones, and for the cleaner tone, it's a my Revival drive going into a Fillmore Mesa Boogie clean amp. And I combined those in like one of my last videos I did where I was talking about condensing multiple signal paths into one capture. That's kind of what this is. So you've got three captures. Basically the Soldano X88 low gain, and then you've got a high gain. And for the low gain capture, I've got two scenes set up, one with the as it was captured, and then one pushing the gain for more medium gain and low gain. So it's a low and medium gain capture for this preset. And then for the clean, I'm using the combined Revival drive going into the Mesa Fillmore with no cab. And I've got two cabs set up. But before I get into all that, when I did the other video, it hit me that I use a Kali 76 in front of my Quad Cortex. So if you hear the panting, it's my little baby down here. She's hot. It's really hot up here. So in doing so, I'm using the Kali 76 as kind of like an always-on compressor. So it's not super compressed, but it gives me a nice pick attack. It actually boosts the gain quite a bit. Like I have to change my input of my Quad Cortex to -7 to compensate for the amount of gain that I'm pushing. So what I was able to find and finally figure out was, at first I tried, see I have the stacked edition Kali 76, so I was like, well, let me try two 76 compressors, one going into the other. I couldn't quite work that out, and the Kali 76 compressor on here does a weird thing sometimes where there's a little crackle on the that you hear more. You don't really hear it on the higher gain, but on the lower gain stuff you hear this little crackle that's like really, I hear it and it just kind of drives me nuts. But so the combination that I was able to kind of find, because the other thing I noticed on this Kali 76 is it introduces a lot of bass also. Could be bass, could be low mids. It's hard to tell exactly, but the way I was able to replicate it was by using this exotic Z boost, set very low in the gain, and then I'm kind of emulating the bass push, the kind of the lower frequencies, and some of the higher frequencies that you get with the additional pick attack with the treble control on this exotic Z boost going into a Chief CS3, which seemed to kind of replicate the pedal the best, which I was really surprised by. And I don't know if also being able to use the tone, helps. Anyway, that was the best combination, and I can show you. So like if I do the first scene, it's basically my clean, right? Reverb now. So you see here that sounds. I'll turn my Kali 76 off and disable those. Without the compressor, see how much level I'm adding. with the compressor. And then enabling these. Whoop. So that's kind of the, that's why that's there. The other thing that's unique about this preset is you can see on every lane I'm going out. So nothing's feeding into another lane theoretically from the, you know, from the typical where you have to send rows 1 and 2 to rows 3 or 4. I'm utilizing these transparent blends, and that way what I'm able to do is I'm able to set the delay. So I have one dedicated row for delay and one dedicated row for reverb, and I'm using my expression pedals, and I'll show some B-roll kind of how I've got it set up on here. But and as you can kind of see, maybe let's see, so all the way to the heel is there's no, so that's the delay row, basically. Completely dry. Introduce a little delay. What it allows you to do, it allows you to get a really nice mix. So it's like a wet, dry, wet kind of scenario where I've got dry amp going out of lane 1, dry amp going out of lane 2. Also, so, and again, so I've got 2 cabs and they've kind of work in tandem. So let's dive in and just kind of do a quick run through. There's nothing really crazy going on. It's kind of like it's kind of like an all-purpose preset, and I use it for church basically. Although my version, I use the Cali 76, and I don't have you know, the Z Boost or the Chief CS3 compressor in there. But this is exactly how I use it. The other thing I'll note too is I've got a couple modulation things down here in the delay and reverb, even though I said it was dedicated delay and reverb. The reason I have that there is I'll swap those out. So sometimes I might want a tremolo, and sometimes I might want a chorus. Sometimes I might want a vibrato. So I can basically take this guy, bring it down here, and then move him up here. So I can have chorus instead. So that's basically why those are down here. It's kind of just like a quick repository. But you can use it in combination also. So if I turn on the tremolo, it actually is a cool effect with the delays. Kind of gives it a little tape kind of feel. So you can use them there for, you know, special effect kind of thing. So anyway, that's why that's there. So I'll go ahead and I'll start. So the way I have the scene set up, if I go to scene mode here, and if I go to scene mode here, so I basically set up A, B, C, and D are the same as E, F, G, and H. And the reason I did that is because I will run in hybrid mode. And that way, if you want your stomps on the bottom, then you can have them on the bottom. If you want them on the top, you can have them on the top. You don't have to worry about changing your scenes up. So So in other words, if I can, so I can have my scenes up here, and I can have my stomps on the bottom, or if I want to, I can have my stomps on top instead and have my scenes on the bottom. You know, that way you can do all of that kind of stuff. This is usually the way I have it, basically, because I'll turn vibrato. Well, I usually have vibrato up here, but I use that a lot, and I use the octave a lot also. So I usually have my scenes on the bottom, and then I have my instant access kind of things on the top row in scene mode. For the purpose of this, I'm going to just break it back out so we can kind of go through the scenes, and then I'll show you the stomps that I have set up and kind of why they're doing what they're doing. So this is a clean, and so right now I've got basically the expression pedals all the way to the back, and you'll hear some. So basically just dry, right? You can bring in some reverb. And so the way that I have the stomps set up is I've got a reverb short and a long. So reverb short and long. So that's the short reverb. And you can turn on the longer reverb. And if you want to clean, so I like it kind of dirty. It's kind of, it's not, I say it's clean, but it's kind of dirty. I mean, it's clean. But if you turn that drive off, doesn't add it's not adding a ton of gain, but it's a little bit cleaner. So all the way to the toe position. That's not as wet as you can get it. And what I mean by that is, let me go back to scene. So for the reverb expression, I've only got it set to blend at max 65%. Because if you go 100% with the reverb set to 100%, it's just wetter than I would ever use it. So I set a max on this blend to 65% for the reverb lane. For the delay lane, I'm going full 100%. So you get a good nice, so with the reverb at 100%, it's pretty prominent. Go back to stomp mode. And then if I go back to the short reverb, so pretty good, good delay sound. It's the delay is set to Man, I'm jumping all over the place. I apologize. Trying to get this video done kind of quick, so kind of blowing through here a little faster than I would like to. So my clean is a little drivey. It's not super clean, but it's clean enough. And I could clean it up a little more. You know, just on the capture itself, you could turn off this drive also, maybe in combination with turning off the, so if I go here and I back the gain down to like 2.9. But the important thing to note is that with these captures, don't be afraid to play with the gain, the EQ, and all that stuff. They're designed to work at, 0, 12, everything at 12 o'clock. For me is how I captured them, because that's the way that it works for me and my guitar. But even when I plug in different guitars, I have to tweak it. It doesn't work with every guitar, just like it's probably not going to sound exactly the same with your guitar either. So you just have to kind of like tweak it. And so this is just kind of like, this is a starting point for everybody. And it's just kind of showing really my methodology on how I set a preset up for like an all-in-one kind of deal. And my main methodology also is that I like to mix on the fly. So that's why I have my delays and verbs controlled by expression pedals. That way I don't have to set up different scenes, with different delay and reverb levels. I can just literally mix it, how much delay, how much reverb I want. Being able to set the reverbs up on a stomp, kind of like how I have here, enables me to also then go to different kinds of reverbs, and I can do the same thing with the delays also. Although I always use this digital dual delay, basically. It's kind of my go-to on here. It was the closest thing that I could get to the H9 delays that I was using. And trying to simplify my rig down to one pedal board. It works great. And I don't miss the H9 at all, actually. I miss it for other reasons, but not specifically for the delays. So that is the clean. Let me blend in a little bit of, so this is the short reverb, and it's just kind of like, so that's full, that's all the way to the toe. If I do go about halfway, it's just like a nice little ambience. So that's the short delay. Now if I switch over to, if I go to stomp, I switch to the long delay. A lot longer. Also with the clean, so my stomps that I've got set up, I'll turn on usually, let's see, where is it? Little tremolo. So that's kind of like that situation. Now, I can swap out like I was talking about earlier. Let's say I want to throw in a... Oh, it won't let me do that. Well, all right, I lied. All right, let's say I want to throw in a univibe. Now in this case, shorter reverb, probably. So that's kind of cool. Throw that. Put it back down there, and I'll throw my tremolo back up there. I like using the tremolo more so for clean stuff. So that's kind of how I use... Oh, one more thing that I like to turn on also is this dimension chorus. And I'll go between mode 2 and 3. Whoops. So I'll go between mode 2 and 3 and 3 and 4. That sounds pretty good. Also, just 4. I've got the mix at 65%. But yeah, 2 and 3. And 2 and 3, and you can see I don't have this set for scenes. There's nothing on here that's controlled. So any changes I make, it's going to make it cross all scenes. So just keep that in mind when you're tweaking. Turn that off. Let me save it. But and you'll hear on the dirtier tones with that Dimension C on there, it makes it really, really nice sounding, really lush sounding. So let's go back to scenes. So the only differences between the scenes are just what capture is being selected. And that's the beauty of it, as far as I'm concerned, because I can control the delay and the reverb, how much I want with that. When I have it in hybrid mode, I can switch my reverbs in and out. I can activate this reverse reverb, which is kind of cool. I'll do that when we hit like a diamond at the end of a song between transitions. You just hear it trail. So it's just a nice way to have it just not die immediately, so that there's kind of almost a pad kind of going at the end of songs leading into either prayer or, something where there's a gap between the end of that song and the beginning of the next song. But and what's cool is that even when you disable it, it still trails. So you can turn it off and you can get set up for your next song and do whatever you need to do. The other great thing so people have asked me, it's like, well, why don't you just use the expression pedal to control the delay mix of the delays? And the reason is when you cut that mix back, it doesn't trail. So by doing it this way, I think I explained this maybe I did. I guess I did. But see, when I go to 0, the delay keeps going. So that's the beauty of that also, and why I'm using the transparent blends for that. And as you can see, the source that I have set up for both the transparent blends, just for the record, it's sending everything signal-wise up to this point. So when if I do activate anything after that, that doesn't get sent to my delay. So the tremolo or anything that's after this gain block doesn't get sent to either the delays or the reverbs. So that was intentional. But you can mess around with it. You can move, you can change, what's feeding the transparent delays. You can have it feed the tremolo. If you want to feed the tremolo into your delays or reverbs, you can just mess around with it like that. So it's not to say that the way I'm doing it is the best way to do it. It's just the way that I'm doing it. So the low gain, as I was kind of saying before I went off on a tangent from hell, that's just a nice crunch. And if we look at that, so I've got the gain set at noon. So this was a kind of a low gain capture. When I go to the medium gain, you see how the gain jumps from up to 7.7 from 0. So I'm using the same capture, just boosting the gain. It still sounds great. It did a really good job of being able to utilize the gain in a way that didn't sound unnatural when you boost it. Turn that. That's the medium gain. So the low gain, the purpose of the low gain is more for when I'm doing neck pickup stuff. So it's a little more aggressive. It's more aggressive than the clean. And I actually like the I like using the what's it called? The MX Vibe. And you'll notice too on these, the low and the medium and high, I've got the gain of the exotic boost almost all the way off. And I'm using them again more for EQing capture, and also to control the volume going into the capture too. But also the compressor is kind of doing that as well. Compression wise, I've got it set lower on the medium and high gain, not as much sustain. Looks like the clean and the low gain are set similarly. I'm actually boosting the level on the low gain, and then cutting the sustain back and adjusting the tone, it looks like also. So yeah, so for the low gain, again, I'm using that more for, it's more for neck, but it does sound good in the bridge also. It's drop D. So. Tangents. Get off on a King's X tangent. You won't get me back. I actually think that has a little more gain than intended. And I'm probably getting, I bet you if I bring in my compressor. But you see how good of a job it does replicating it. It's pretty awesome. All right, so that's the low gain. Going to the medium gain. So as you know, or as we showed you earlier, yeah, as you can see, the gain is up 7.7. Volume is up a little bit as well, just to kind of volume match. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and show you. So on the higher gain stuff, so this is the without the dimension turned on. I don't know how to play that. It gives it a little nice dimension. I don't know if you can, hence the name, or dimension. Let's see, where is it? Yeah. So again, it gives it a nice little dimension. Sounds awesome. So that's the medium gain. That's pretty gain. But you see how, like, even the medium gain, see, it's not prickly. It's not like buzzsaw-y. It's not really that much gain. It sounds like a lot more gain than it really is, because even so, if I palm mute, you know, normally if you've got super high gain, it's going to sound real sizzly, but it doesn't sound sizzly, you know? Turn on the Now when I turn it off, It's like I miss it when it's off. Sounds so good, I think. You know, I tried different amps, I've tried different captures, and I've actually got some Dragon amp third power captures I did that I may do a separate video for. I'm not really sure. You may have seen it if you're on Facebook in any of the the groups, the like Quad Cortex group and Nano Cortex group. But if you haven't, go check them out because they sound really good. But I still keep coming back to the Soldano X88 captures that I did, and they just always are really good. So one other fact, the other preset that I was using IRs, and I basically kept coming back to this Alnico 412 Brit cab as one of my favorites. Set kind of wild. You can see the ribbon. I got it like way off to the side. But it came as close. The other cab that I like a really lot is the Soldano cab. And I will share the other two versions of this that I use, that are the same, except, you know, I'm using the Cali 76 in front, although I may switch to this because it sounds freaking great. As I'm sitting here doing this demo, I'm like, wow, that sounds good. But if you have, and that was the other reason why when I was talking about selling the preset, I was like, well, I can't do that because not everybody's going to have the Soldano plug-in to be able to grab the cab. They're not going to have the IRs. So it's just it all just kind of fell apart. So I'll figure out some kind of way if anybody wants to donate, to the channel, you know, like have like a little tip jar or something for anybody that wants to contribute. I really don't. It really doesn't. You see how concerned I am about it. So moving on to the high gain preset. Basically, it's a whole different capture, all set to noon except for the volume. So you can see going from medium, I'm using this capture here, and going to the high gain X88 capture as well. And for the record, these sound kick ass on the Nano Cortex too, by the way. So very rarely do I venture into this at church, because this one's plenty of gain for most of the stuff we do at church. Go to high gain. Yeah, so I basically turned the mix down on that. It was up to 100%. And I think it's because I had it down in the reverb section. So that wasn't intentional. I am going to move it back down here. I'm going to move the tremolo back up. Save that. So. And then with the Dimension C on. Yeah, so that's the high gain setting. A little what else? So I went over, I also added a shimmer delay just for fun. Whoop. So anyway, that's just in there for fun. The other thing that I did add was the other thing in here. There is an EQ it's just a low pass. So if it's too boomy, just enable that and it'll cut your well, set it, I guess, how you need it set. Yeah, so I've got it basically cutting anything out from 100 hertz below, leaving the high, looks like the low pass, so it's not doing anything to the high frequencies, but you can, I keep messing with, I do this every time, I keep messing with the Quad Cortex and not the screen. But yeah, you can see basically anything 100 or below, if you enable that, it's going to cut those out. If it's too boomy for you, or if you want to cut some high frequencies, that's why that EQ is there, just for whatever. What else? I think that's it. kind of showed everything. You know, this preset, it's going to be up to you essentially to set your stomps up how you want them. I have one empty one, so technically, let's say, what could we do with that one? We could use it to turn on and off the drive, maybe. I don't want to do that. What would we do? Oh, the shimmer, maybe? You want to turn the shimmer on and off? So we'll do that. We'll assign that to G. Yeah, so let's go here. Assign it. Or how can you do it from here? I don't know how to do it from the app, so I'm going to do it from here. G. Yeah, so now I got the shimmer set up. Save that. Let's go to the long reverb. A lot more prominent with the longer reverb. Good. Let's do. And that's with the reverb set. If I go all the way to the toe, and then the other thing that I have set up is I have the looper set up on a switch. If I go there, I can hit record. That is pretty much it, y'all. I hope you enjoyed that little run through, and I hope you enjoy this preset. It took a long time to do, and I thought it turned out really great. Yeah, I think it turned out great.
I love things that are great.
To be able to replicate the Kali 76 in a way that was unexpected. Anyway, so that's it. I hope you guys dig it. This was a lot of fun. I've been using this preset for a long time, and I keep tweaking and I keep coming back to these captures, especially. They just sound great, and it's road tested, if you will. So like even on the live streams, it sounds great from our church. And I'm really happy with it since I've kind of pared down my rig. And like I said, I'll shoot some B-roll of kind of what the situation is. And you've probably seen it if you've watched any of the other channel videos that I've got. But I did some captures of some other things like a Vemoram, my butter machine. I did some of the like I said, the third Power Dragon amp, which turned out great. Those are up. You can grab those now too if you haven't seen them already. Look me up on the cloud, the neural cloud, Cortex Cloud. And yeah, check them out. Let me know what you think of the preset in the comments. And hope everybody has a great New Year's, and I hope everybody has an even better year next year, 2025. I'm looking forward to it myself. So I hope it brings a lot of good things to a lot of good people, and I have no doubt that it will. So fight the good fight. And yeah, enjoy, comment below, let me know what you think. And again, thanks for checking it out, and thanks for hanging in there with me on my channel and following. And if you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to subscribe. And if you like the preset, I mean, that's all I ask. If you use it and you like it, then just I think a subscription would be much appreciated. If you don't mind, and definitely like the video and all that good stuff. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. Hook 'em horns. Anyway, thanks so much, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.